Chord progressions. They are the basis of all music. And let's be honest, the pop chords 1, 5, 6, and 4, it's not awesome together, but it can get boring. You can kind of get stuck in a rut playing the same 4 chords all the time. Maybe you want to create some emotion. Maybe you want a moody chord progression, or a happy one, or a dramatic one, or just something different than what you're used to. So this lesson is going to teach you how to create a chord progression that's going to be a bit more of an adventure. It's going to put you in the driver's seat so that you know how to combine chords to create something that sounds amazing. So let's dive in. All right, step 1. We're going to look at our diatonic chords. These are like the main chords that you can use. So we're in the key of G, which means we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Those are like our main ingredients. This is what we're gonna base everything off of. So if we take our hand and build a chord, play G and B and D, that's a G chord. And it's based off the first note of the G scale, so we call it our 1 chord. And then we can take our whole hand and go arch, using the ingredients. So we're making the same shape, but just in a new spot on the second note of the G scale. We call this our 2 chord. Now we're gonna move our hand and do that again. Now, keep in mind, F is a sharp in the key of G, so we're gonna play this as a black key. So we've got B, D, and F sharp. It's the 3rd note, it's the 3 chord. And then we keep doing that. This is our 4, it's a C chord, it's a C chord. And we're gonna move here. Remember, F is a black key, so this is our D chord. We have E, it's a sad one, we call it minor, but don't need to worry about that right now. And then we're gonna do this one more time. We have a crazy sounding one. It's a diminished chord. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you how to make diminished chords sound awesome in just a minute. And then back to our 1. So those are our ingredients. You could mix and match basically any of those, and it's going to sound really good. So listen to that. I went 1, 3, 4. That sounded nice. I could start on the 3. It's sort of dark and moody now. And then I could go to the 6. And then I could go to the 4, and then the 5. Well, that was pretty. That was the 3, the 6, the 4, and the 5. So suddenly I've just played something that sounds really, really lovely. That isn't my 1, my 5, my 6, my 4. It's a little bit different. It's got a bit of a different attitude, a different mood. You could play the 2, the 1, the 6, and then the 5. And something to note is the more comfortable you get with this, the more you'll realize like this is 1 here and this is 2 here, and you could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? You could play the 6 up here, E, G, and B, but you can also play it down here, E, G, and B, or you could play it E, G, and B. Right? It doesn't really matter what order you play those notes in or where on the keyboard you play them in. It's just the easiest way to visualize these chords and how they work together is by playing them in this position, which is root position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So once you get more comfortable with this concept, you'll find that you move around a bit more. So what I'm trying to say is, to create a chord progression that's unique, you want to pick any chords that fit diatonically together. That's our starting point. And a great way to get out of a rut is just don't start on the 1. That'll really help. So if I start on the 1, my ear generally tends to take me here, and then my ear takes me here, and my ear takes me here. So if I kind of stop that and I start on the 2, my ear's like, oh, well, where can we go? I can get creative. 2, let's go to the 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's go to the 4, and then the 1. Sounds awesome. So that's step 1. It's just about finding the chords that make sense together, and then experimenting with placing them in different orders, and then paying attention to how they make you feel. Like the minor chords, they're moody and emotional, and the major ones are happy. And if you end on the 1, it's always going to feel like things are settled. So that's another thing to keep in mind as you're building chord progressions is 1, that feels like home. 5, always pulls your ear back to the 1. So while that sounded kind of like classical and official, it's a really cool trick. So if you're going to, that's why the 2, 5, 1 works, by the way. 2, 5, 1. Because it's just like this lovely way to pull your ear to a certain place, and the 1 feels like home base. Now I'm going to do something really crazy that might blow your mind a little bit. We're going to find a way to incorporate a diminished chord, and it's going to sound so pretty. And this is what will really give you the tools that you need to create chord progressions that are both lovely and surprising to the ear. So just for simplicity's sake, let's say we're going from 1 to 5 to 6. Isn't that pretty? That's pretty on its own. Now, that was fine, but it's kind of boring. So what we can do is we can notice that we're going from our 5 chord to our 6 chord, and we've got this little black key in the middle. And so we're gonna build a chord off of this black key, and we're gonna build a diminished chord, which is just a stack of minor thirds. I'm gonna show you how it sounds, and then I'll show you how to build it. So here's our 1, here's our 5. Isn't that so beautiful? So what I did is I took this note, which is just this like passing note, right? We've only got the space from here to here to worry about. So we're gonna use this to build something on. It's gonna carry the ear up. And I'm gonna build that diminished chord. So we're gonna take a note and we're gonna go 1 half step, 2 half step, 3 half steps. And we'll do it again, 1, 2, 3. And that's what we have here. And we could make that a 7th if we wanted. We could add 1 more note, 1, 2, 3. It will sound just as good. So listen, G, there's our 1, there's our 5, here's that diminished. Oh, so pretty, so beautiful. And so that's a great little tool that you can use anytime you're sort of moving. If you're going from 1 to 2, you could try doing that same trick. We've got 1 black key in between. And then my ear's like, what should we do next? Well, 5-1 is always a good idea because it'll pull the ear back to the 1. Isn't that so cool how that all fits together? So that's one of my favorite things to use when I'm building chords or building progressions rather, is look for those moments where I can sort of pull in unusual or different chords to kind of give the ear like a surprise, right? Because when you're listening to music, predictability is nice to some degree, but anytime you can sort of sneak a moment into a progression where the ear is sort of like settled in, where the ear goes, whoa, what was that? Then you cause the listener to sort of wake up, pay attention, and become curious about what they're hearing. And I think that's such an important skill when you're improvising or songwriting or just playing around with chord progressions. So let's just recap. You can apply this to any key signature. So we are in the key of G today, but you could apply this to any scale that you're working on. You just take the notes of the scale, build a claw. These are your chords. These are your ingredients. You could pick any combination of these guys here. They all get a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And you can mix and match them to create whatever you want. Or, right? And then you can, of course, use these little black keys anytime you're moving between chords and there's this little passing note moment. Take advantage of it. And then the final thing, slash chords. Listen to this. What the heck did I just do? So it's just taking a chord, like a G chord, and put the third, the middle note, in the bass. So instead of matching it with your left hand, play this middle note. Notice how that changes what your ear experiences? So pretty. So if I'm going from 1 to 5, and then this diminished chord, and now I'm going to play a 1, and then I'm going to play a 4. So my 1 is my G, but I'm going to add this slash chord. I'm going to add the third in the bass. And here's C, which is my 4 chord. There's my 5. I could play this in the bass if I wanted, and then land back on the 1. So really, truly, once you sort of get lost down the rabbit hole of playing the third in the bass, like these slash chords, you could get lost for a really long time because, this is pretty. That's so pretty. Okay, let's try it on the A minor. So pretty. And then you begin to ask questions like, where does my ear want to go? The possibilities are so they're limitless. And you get to really start to lean into this creative experience where you've got this technical skill that's leading you. But as soon as the technical skill being, okay, playing a chord with a third in the bass, and then you lean into your creativity and you're like, well, where does my ear want to go? You might sing it. Right? You might start to sing and it'll help you to sort of explore. I could talk for hours on this topic because it's just so much fun and it helps you just tap into what I believe are the therapeutic benefits of playing the piano, where you're just kind of getting lost in the music, and you let go of caring if you make an amazing sound or if you make a terrible sound. It's more just about the process of discovery and getting lost in the music. And so I will leave it there because that's a lot of information. I would love for you to come up with a chord progression and share it with us below. I'm going to play them. So you share a chord progression. I'm going to be going through these comments. I'm going to be playing the different progressions, and it will be really fun. And then we can all play each other's chord progressions, and that'll be even more fun. So happy creating, and I'll see you next time.